Hey everyone, it's Brett Hornby here. Welcome back to my YouTube channel, and definitely got a couple of Calgary Flames items that was worthy to make a video on, especially during the week after work. But in this video, we're going to be talking about Geoff Ward and Captain Mark Giordano. So if you recall, a couple of weeks ago, I made a video talking about that there was reports from Sportsnet and Elliot Freeman that the Calgary Flames were expected to make a decision soon on Geoff Ward, who, as you recall, was the interim head coach of the Calgary Flames when he was brought in late November after, all the, let's say, stories that brought up from the past with Bill Peters. And I would say, all things considered, Geoff Ward definitely turned the season around as he led Calgary for a 25-15-3 record. Got us eventually into the playoffs after knocking out Winnipeg in the play-in series. However, we lost to the Dallas Stars in 6 in the first round. But I would say that was enough of a addition for potentially becoming the head coach. So the Calgary Flames, fast forward a couple weeks later, have indeed announced that Geoff Ward, they are taking the interim tag off of his title. So Geoff Ward is now going to be the official head coach of the Calgary Flames going into the 2020-21 season, whenever that's going to start. So congratulations, Geoff Ward. He is now the official head coach of the Calgary Flames. And I would say definitely not surprising by the news, as it was reported the other day. I felt I wasn't going to make a video until I waited until it was official, but I didn't have to wait too long for that anyway, that the Flames were leaning towards keeping Geoff Ward around as head coach, and probably say it is the best move to make, given to keep stability in the organization and to maybe try to slow down the carousel. As if you look, as I'll go over the list of Calgary Flames head coaches we've had, especially under the tenure of Brett Treliving, the carousel seems to keep spinning a little faster. As the song, as the Brat Pack goes, it goes around, goes up and down. Well, definitely, we need to slow down the carousel. I am aware that there's tempting options out there, with Peter Laviolette potentially, or Gerard Gallant, or even Mike Babcock. I wouldn't touch Mike Babcock with a 10-foot pole, but the only other teams that, other than the Calgary Flames, when they had an interim head coach, the Washington Capitals, they are without a head coach, as they have moved on with Todd Reardon, and they are expected to name one of those three big names that is available. Minnesota recently took the interim tag off of Dean Evason after he took over for Bruce Boudreau, and the Dallas Stars, who, as of this recording, maybe we won't feel as bad that Dallas is actually one game away from going to their first Stanley Cup final in 20 years, as they have a 3-1 lead against the Vegas Golden Knights. Well, as you recall, actually, as it turned out, head coach Rick Bowness is the interim head coach. He probably will also get the tag lifted off of him, as he led the Dallas Stars into the playoffs and possibly into the Stanley Cup final. I like their chances with a 3-1 lead in the Western Conference Championship. But he took over for Jim Montgomery, who actually, as it turned out, he actually was battling alcohol. That was why Jim Montgomery suddenly was let go, and it was during that strange time with Babcock, Bill Peters, and then, the Don Cherry words that he said, and then Jim Montgomery. But I can understand that rolling a lot more once it was going out, and I hear Jim Montgomery's been working on it and doing a little better on it. But yeah, Geoff Ward is the head coach of the Calgary Flames. So the only other teams that have interims is Dallas and Washington. They don't have a coach. You could also say the Seattle Kraken is technically looking for a head coach, but they're probably going to wait until after this past season's all done. I don't think there'll be a coach that's waiting, would want to be head coach and have nothing to do for a year. But Calgary definitely has gone through a lot of head coaches. As if you want to go back to the Atlanta Flames days, well, the first head coach of the Atlanta Flames actually was Boom Boom, Bernie Jeffrin, yes, the Montreal Canadiens legend. and he coached from 1972 to 1975. He eventually stepped down because of he had stomach ulcers throughout later in his life. And then Fred Creighton was the head coach for the Atlanta Flames until the last season that their team was in Atlanta. And then the last season in Atlanta, before they moved to Calgary, who happened also to be the first head coach of the Calgary Flames, is Al McNeil. So Al McNeil was, you could say, the first head coach for the Calgary Flames. Geoff Ward is considered the 20th, but 17 when you count the Calgary Flames. Al McNeil was the head coach from 1980-82 before he got promoted to be director of player development. And then I think the best coach that the Calgary Flames have ever had, Bob Johnson, was number 2, and he came in from 1982 to 87. And then he took a job with the U.S. national team, and then eventually he came back in the NHL, coached the Pittsburgh Penguins to their first ever Stanley Cup, and then he had brain cancer. And rest in peace, Bob Johnson, but I would say he's the best coach and the longest tenured coach that the Flames have had. Then we had Crispy, Terry Crisp, from 1987 to 1990. Obviously, he's known for leading the Calgary Flames to the Stanley Cup. You could also say he was known for the year after we won the Stanley Cup, he was fired. And then the carousel started going a little faster, because in the first 10 years that the Calgary Flames were in Calgary, they've only had 3 head coaches. While the Atlanta Flames, they only had 3 coaches in the 8 years, and the third one was in the last season before moving to Calgary. Because Doug Risebrough was number 4, and he was only coached from 1990 to 1992. Then eventually resigned. Team wasn't looking good. Maybe he knew the writing was on the wall. I would say he also had a lot on his plate as president, coach, and general manager. I questioned Doug Risebrough at times when he was general manager. And then we had number 5, Guy Chiron. He only took over for the rest of the season, knowing he was only the interim for the rest of the year. He coached 16 games. And then number 6 was Dave King. He only coached from 1992 to 95. And then we moved on from Dave King and we brought in Pierre Pagé. He only lasted 2 years for number 7, from 1995 to 97. And then we brought in the first of 3 Sutters, as we brought in Brian Sutter. And then Calgary didn't have a good team. There was during the Young Guns era where we just couldn't get out of, we were just spinning our wheels from 1997 to 2000. And then we brought in Don Hay, who actually spent some time as an assistant coach of Calgary with the Pierre Pagé. And he was the head coach of the Kamloops Blazers when they had their back-to-back Memorial Cups. That Jerome McGinley was on those teams. He didn't even last a year, as it was the 2002-2001 season. He only coached 68 games until assistant Greg Gilbert took over, and he coached parts of 3 seasons from 2001 to 2003 until eventually we got fired. Greg Gilbert was head coach of the Calgary Flames when we had that great start in the 01-02 season. That was Jerome McGinley's probably best season individually. And then he was also known to be involved in that brawl with the Anaheim Ducks. But then we just fizzled out, and then the following season really struggled. And then we brought in Al McNeil. For the first time in 20 years, he was coach. He did really well as an intern for 11 games, knowing he was just in place till we brought in Darryl. And then Darryl's number 11, where he coached from 2003 to 2006. Obviously, Darryl's most known for leading the Calgary Flames to the Stanley Cup Finals in 2004, and the Bailey should have won their second Stanley Cup. Then he decided to step down, and then the carousel really started going faster as we promoted associate coach Jim Playfair. And he only coached from 2006-07, as Calgary was great at home, but not so on the road. And then we decided to shake things up and brought in Iron Markinian for number 13, as he was the coach from 2007 to 2009, got us in the playoffs in back-to-back years. Although during that time with Mike Keenan, he still had to work with Darryl's assistant coach, especially Jim Playfair was the associate, and Rich Preston. And then we brought in Brent Sutter, and he was a coach for 3 years, 2009-12. I mean, we were declining, but we couldn't get in the playoffs. And then the carousel slowed down just a little, and we brought in Bob Hartley. We listed him as number 15. I guess they count the other tenures of Al McNeil a few times, but Bob Hartley actually was in for 4 seasons from 2012 to 2016. Most notably being the only Flames head coach up to date to win the Jack Adams Award, but we probably would say overachieved that year, got in the second round of the playoffs, and then the next season we regressed and he got let go, but he actually has the second longest tenure. And then, as I said, would be the 4th coach that Brad Treliving, the current general manager, has had to deal with, because he inherited Bob Hartley the first full season he was general manager, and then signed it to extension. And then we brought in Glenn Gulch, and he was only here for 2 years, from 2016 to 18, and got us into the playoffs in the first year. We needed to, go on 2 winning streaks in December and in March just to get into the playoffs, but then we got swept by Anaheim. Then we were quick to hurry to hire Bill Peters, and looked like a good move first season, where we had the best season generation, but then last season happened. We'll just leave it there. And then Geoff Ward, which I would say we'll see how long his tenure is. So that's definitely all the coaches that the Calgary Flames have gone through. But I would say this signifies not only bringing in some stability for the Calgary Flames head coaching position, but this might also put more onus on that. Maybe there could be more changes to the roster. As you know, the carousel seems to keep spinning where we keep bringing in coaches, but not necessarily change some of the players. I think this would be not only to bring stability for the franchise, to have someone to build around, because reportedly it's a 2-year deal that the Calgary Flames signed Geoff Ward to, as when Bill Peters brought in, he was the associate coach, who was essentially the, kind of the just below the head coach. But I definitely like his resume. I mean, yeah, this is the only time he's been a head coach for the whole time he's been with the Flames. But he's definitely been everywhere. I mean, most notably with the NHL. He was at the Boston Bruins. He first entered as the assistant coach of the Bruins back in 2007. And then he was on there until 2013. During that time, when he worked most notably with Claude Julien, he won the Stanley Cup in 2011 and went to the finals in 2018. Then he also worked with the New Jersey Devils under, what's his name? New Jersey Devils, Payne, not Payne, trying to think of his name for a sec. He's now with Nashville. Name slips my mind right now, but he worked with John Hines. That's his name, John Hines, for the New Jersey Devils, who is now with the Nashville Predators. He worked with them until 2015 to 2018 before coming here when we're slightly more lucrative position. But Geoff Ward, I mean, he's from Waterloo, Ontario. He coached at the University of Waterloo from 1981 to 1991. Then he was a junior hockey coach, where he coached the Niagara Falls Thunder from 91-92. Then he spent some time in the OHL with the Waterloo Saskins, 1993. Kitchener Rangers, 1993-98. Guelph Storm, 98-99. And then he elevated up to the AHL, where he worked with the Edmonton Oilers Toronto Maple Leafs franchise with the Hamilton Bulldogs from 2002-2003 when they were with the Oilers, and then 03-04 with the Toronto Maple Leafs. But he also has coached overseas in Germany, as he coached 3 stints in Germany, winning the DHL Championship in 2015 with Mannheim as head coach, and then as the assistant for the Germany team from 2015 to 18. So he has some championship resume, not with as a head coach with the Stanley Cup. But I definitely like this move for bringing stability, and may put a little more onus on the players. That it's time to slow the carousel down. That maybe it's time to look at retooling the roster. And I expect Calgary is going to do that. I made my video the other day where I talked about the fact that I think there's going to be changes on the defense, and I would definitely think we should make a play for Oliver Ekman-Larsson, as there's definitely some rumors out on the Hockey Buzz, Twitterverse, whatever you want to call it, that the Flames could be looking there for getting in a new defenseman, and also there might be also in on Darcy Kemper of the Arizona Coyotes, but that's just all rumors and speculation right now. So yeah, congratulations Geoff Ward on being now officially named the head coach of the Calgary Flames, and hopefully his great work that he's continued. I mean, he needs to learn on the job, and I would say he saved the season from the season was going to go south if we with the Bill Peters thing. He turned the team around. Teams seem to play looser. He's been more open to player ideas, and I mean, he's not the tyrant or like the old school days with head coaches. He seems to be, into the game today, working with the team, and the fact that he has won as an assistant with the NHL, or also overseas in Germany. And he used to be a school teacher as well, so I like Geoff Ward. I know there's better names out there, but this is the best move that we can make to bring in stability. So let's talk about Mark Giordano. He's won some more hardware. As Mark Giordano, he wins the Mark Messier Leadership Award, and actually that's the same award that Jerome McGinley won back in 2009. Basically, it's just it goes to the player that exemplifies great leadership qualities on and off the ice. And definitely, you would say that Mark Giordano, during his time when he took over as captain of the Calgary Flames after when we moved on by Jerome McGinley, they were saying that Mark Giordano is looked upon as one of the better captains in the NHL. And I mean, last season he won the Norris Trophy for the top defenseman in the league, and you can say that season prior, I mean, he was knocking on the door, or at least getting on the ballot for the award. But I would say it's not the major award that could make a case for potentially saying is he worthy of going in the Hall of Fame. I'm still not there yet if I would say that Mark Giordano is a Hall of Famer, but he's definitely been obviously in the top 5, I would say, for best defenseman that the Calgary Flames have ever had. But definitely, you would say it's an extra special award to share with named after Mark Messier. Some say he's one of the best leaders of all time in NHL, and Jerome McGinley won this. And I mean, Mark Giordano definitely is involved in the community over the years here in Calgary. You know, especially with the, let's say, Giordano partnered with the Calgary Board of Education in 2014 to launch Giordano that promote physical fitness and academics as well as leadership development for ID schools, and the You Can Play project, the Calgary Pride Parade, as well various other charities. And he's won the Ralph Terry Scurfield Humanitarian Award as well. That's internally for the Calgary Flames for the same thing. And actually, there was a story that during the pause that Mark Giordano was out shopping and he helped out some some families who couldn't pay their groceries when COVID was all getting for real here. So definitely it's fortunate that we have Mark Giordano in the community, and it's nice to see that the league acknowledges that all the great work he's done. And I know that last season there was like a Giordano's golf tournament where it kind of promotes the Calgary Italian community as well. I mean, definitely he has Italian heritage, so yeah, definitely nice to talk a video talking about our head coach, now head coach, Geoff Ward, and our captain, and Mark Giordano. So it was a great day for both of our leaders of the Calgary Flames. So congratulations to Geoff Ward on now being officially the head coach of the Calgary Flames. We're all rallying behind you to lead the Calgary Flames to get out of this rut and finally, get out of the first round for a change and maybe go on a nice run. And Mark Giordano for winning the Mark Messier Leadership Award that Jerome McGinley won 11 years ago. So what do you think of both Geoff Ward and Mark Giordano on the officially naming him as head coach and the Mark Messier Leadership Award going to Mark Giordano? That's definitely more accolades are going Mark Giordano's way. So anyway, if you want to follow along with this Calgary sports fan's journey, home to Flames, Hitmen, Roughnecks, and Stampeders, I mostly talk Calgary sports, obviously with this video talking about Flames news with the head coach and our captain. But I also do personal vlogs, attempt to comedy, and I also do share my experience with them on the road or at sporting events. So if it all sounds like it'd be interesting to watch to follow along with this Calgary sports fan's journey, you know what you need to do, just make sure you hit like, subscribe. I also have my other social media links down in the description below for other ways you can follow me or maybe get updates on what I plan to do on my channel in the future. And as I say, I want to continue to keep growing on this platform and see where it takes me. It's definitely fun to make videos and share my love for Calgary sports and anything else that's on my mind out there. And it's also nice to, I'm not too sure if I'll do it yet. That's one of the reasons I want to continue to grow, because I might eventually want to take the plunge and maybe do some live streams. It's fun to actually watch some other live streams and be more interactive, and hopefully maybe one day I can provide that for my viewers as well. So as I say here, go Flames go, and I'll see you in the next video.